AI is creating more code, but that's more for us to learn. I created Intraview, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to install it and test it on an open source repo that I haven't seen yet. And we're going to work through and learn it together. Now, this video is specifically a getting started for Intraview, and it can be used outside if you haven't installed it yet, or it's also included in the product if you go to the help section. So I'm going to go through and show you how to install it in a new repo, get started building tours, and edit those tours so you could do it to your own repo going forward. So let's get started. So this demo is going to assume that you haven't pulled the repo that you want to use yet. So we're going to pull the repo, which is from OpenClaw. You can find it online at OpenClaw and GitHub, and you can pull it yourself if you want to try this at home. Okay, we're now going to clone the repo. I've already done it. The command I used was GitHub repo clone OpenClaw. So I have the GitHub CLI locally. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into that folder, and I'm just going to open it up in VS Code. We've got OpenClaw installed. We've opened VS Code, and the first thing I generally look for when I'm going into a repository that I haven't seen before is this repo using Agentics already? And it seems this one has an agent MD and a cloud MD file. So this is a great opportunity to use Intraview. If it doesn't have that, you can set it up with Claude Code, obviously, and it depends. Intraview works best in an environment which is built for Agentics, and it works with your agent. So the smarter your agent is because of your creation of that context, the better the tours will be. But we're going to start from scratch in this repo from the tour perspective. So let's first set up Intraview. You can note I'm using Claude Code in the terminal. You can use Claude Code extension as well. It'll work perfectly fine. So we're going to see this Intraview setup. It's going to tell us four things it's going to be doing. First, it's going to add Intraview to the getignore. This is because Intraview is all local. It creates files, and these are JSON files that are for your draft tours. Often you won't want to share those with your team, so they're considered drafts, and that folder is in a ignored folder. There's also a published folder, which isn't in that getignore that it's saying, and you can change that, and I'll show you how. And it's going to configure your agent context and your Claude and Agents MD and the MCP server. So let's quickly see, do we have an MCP server already? We do not. We're going to complete the setup. Now, it wants you to reload the IDE. This is just a safety measure because in some cases, everything doesn't register on the first time. It's just because the way that the MCP server in VS Code works, and this will give you a clean start. So the server's running, and you can see it's running on 42.069. That's local. That's within VS Code, so not on the web. So we also, if you're using the terminal version of Claude Code, you will need to restart it. So it'll still say that I don't have the MCP server. So I'll exit and then go back in, and let's do MCP, and we can see Intraview is now connected. So we can view our tools. We can see all the tools here. I'm not going to go through all the specific tools in this demo. We'll see them being used probably. Okay, so now this is the welcome screen for getting started. It's going to talk through kind of all the things you need to know. I'd strongly recommend you go through this, and we'll walk through a lot of these examples together today. So the key thing is the tour workflow, which is there's drafts, we edit, we refine, and we publish. But the first thing we're going to do, we can look at this new tour. We have these suggestions. So I'm going to kind of shrink this down so you can see the smallest version of the Intraview view. We have the getting started, which is this page we're seeing. So if you close this, you can get it back open. So don't worry. If you have a question for us, you can, ping us here. If you have feedback, you can do the same thing. You can do it anonymously if you wish. So let's kind of start off. And the first thing we're going to want to do is get these tours started. Now, we don't know a lot about OpenClaw, potentially. You may know a lot. What I know is what I've read on Hacker News and that there's some security issues, but I want to dig in together. So let's just start by getting some suggestions and working with our agent, because our agent's already connected. So if you go to the suggestions, you can say request more suggestions. So we can take that prompt, and a lot of the behavior, which is new, is Intraview will give you prompts or examples that you can share with your agent. So I'm going to put that prompt there. I'm also going to look for, I've also worked on a prompt for this conversation that we can share. Put this over on the side. You can see more space. You can see it's using Sonnet 4.5, and it used the Manage Agent Suggestions tour. I've added the prompt. I'm a developer exploring OpenClaw for the first time. I want to understand more about the gateway architecture, the channel adapter system, all these messaging services, the agent identity and memory, heartbeat and proactive autonomy, security model, and skills and plugin architecture. So these are the things that we can make tours about. We can make tours about anything we want. It's effectively just a prompt. You could say, make a tour about a diff that you just did. You could make a tour about a specific feature set and how it works. We'll come back when this is done. Okay, so it finished up. It just talked about how we had these existing system-generated generic tours, and they've added these OpenClaw specifics. So there's 6 new ones that we talked about. There's a gateway architecture, and we can see all these over here. So we had 5, now we have 11. These are the original ones. The newest ones are on top. Let's look at a generic tour as the first one, because I would love to do a getting started tour, and I'm going to copy that prompt. So I'm going to make this first tour just so we can kind of understand what building a tour looks like. The one key thing to note before we transition, your agent, so this cloud agent, did not know what Intraview was before we installed it. And now it's directing you on what just happened. So it says these tours are now visible in the Intraview sidebar. You can click any suggestion and generate a full interactive tour. This is one of the things I really enjoyed about building Intraview the way we've done, which is it works with your agent, and the MCP server coaches your agent on how to help you. So it's not a custom agent. This is the agent you're already paying for, doing things with a new tool and helping you understand how it's supposed to work. I'm going to pause again, and we're going to watch the tour start up in a second. The system will give you kind of a visual of what's happening because there's 3 stages. The explore, plan, and build. Intraview creates a lot of guardrails for your agent. The important thing to understand is that without these, the quality of the tours goes down. There's static analysis tools that we give your agent, which you can see in the MCP, and there's also access to them elsewhere. It also verifies that the line numbers it's trying to show you are correct and they match the code. It will look for any references your agent discusses and make sure it doesn't make them up. And it's clear. It'll also look at the quality vis-a-vis like the amount of words it's using to describe the amount of code it's showing to kind of make sure that it makes sense. So all these things are very important to creating the best tour for you. The explore phase is when the agent decides exactly what are the core concepts and fundamental things that it wants to teach during the tour. Once it has that and it begins to build the plan and actually go into the code and find and connect those, but it will not, one of the key things is it doesn't consider the tour done until it actually wires those concepts and success criteria to actual code. So that's, again, why these tours are self-healing is because we have goals. And so if the code changes, we have these goals which are conceptual, and we can basically rewire the tour to new code to hit the same goals. The tour is still building. I just want you to see some of the MCP services that your agent starts using that it's never used before. So JSON Edit is a custom tool within Intraview, and it allows batch JSON editing. Without this tool, it saves probably about 90% of the back and forth in number of tool usages that you would have to edit a JSON file, because it allows batch editing. You can see that it's doing massive edits at once versus doing a bunch of different ones. There's also this validate. So each step it'll validate configuration, and it'll get that's how it'll transition from phase 1 to phase 2, etc. It has to pass a bunch of tests. There's also errors, which you'll get. So you can see here that we're having, the agent is having an issue trying to update. And there it goes. It was successful that time, wasn't successful last time. And it compels the agent to do its research. It makes the agent actually look. One of the things that we found was that if you don't do that, the agent doesn't necessarily look at all the code, and it sometimes tries to use its context and make it up. Tour is created. So now we can kind of walk through it. I'm going to close the Intraview panel so we have more room. So this is the getting started tour. So now that we've created our first tour, I'm not going to go through it step by step. I'm just going to show you the features, and then we can come back. So a tour is pretty straightforward. It's got obviously a title for each step. It's got the line numbers which you can click on to kind of come back to it. You can navigate forward, back, if there's a back step behind it, and then you can obviously exit. If you try to exit early, it'll give you a warning, and if you end, you can always reopen it. And if you close it, you can always reopen it from over here. This one will be in our drafts now. So there we go. We can open it again from over here. Now, the feedback on each step is really important. So this can be used in a lot of different ways. The way it was designed is that if you're using the tour to learn, you could be putting in questions for your agent and batching it. So you can go through the whole tour and ask your agent questions or ask it to improve the tour. It can be used however you want. What really matters is your agent can actually see this if you talk to your agent about it. So if I say like, hello world, the code is 62. There's other ways of getting the feedback. It's actually visible as well over here. The feedback is in a file, so you can see it here. It's in and you can share it with the agent as well through file sharing. If you close the tour early, it will ask you if you want to share the file. So it says the code is 62. So again, the agent can see what you're saying as you go through. It can navigate with you. You could say, go to the next step, you can use your agent as a guide. You can do it yourself. It's totally up to you. So you can go and put in feedback. The other thing you can do if you're going through and let's say you're in this fire and you're like, oh, what's this? You can go and add feedback and say, what's this? And it'll be considered something that's called additional feedback. So you could add a bunch of questions as you're going through. You could open new files and navigate anywhere and, just say, and can continue to kind of batch that up so you can ask questions later. So whenever you finish a tour, or if you finish early, you'll have this share feedback with agent if you want. This is, again, going to copy it to your buffer. And so here's our what's this. So we'll copy it here and we'll tell the agent, wait, you give me a little context on my questions. Here's the what's this for that, for what we just shared with the agent. So the other thing you can do once you get this all started, you have your drafts. If you like it, you can publish it. You can also edit it. So when you're editing and you're in edit mode, this is kind of looks like a like it's a slide deck. So you can kind of jump through each of your slides. You can drag them around and you can add steps between them. If you think it's missing something, you can edit them, obviously move them around. This is a WYSIWYG editor. So you can edit any of the pieces, including changing the line numbers if you want to make it tighter or switch it up. Whenever you're done, you just say done and it saves it. And you can go review it again. And when you finish editing it, you can publish it. Publishing it just moves it to another folder. And if you need to edit kind of where it's publishing, you can go up here to the settings and you can change it. Right now it's by default doc tours. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. You can always edit that and it'll publish it. So we look over in doc tours. There it is. And here's our tour. So now when we actually go to commit, this will be something we add to our repo and we can share it with our team. And obviously they can continue to edit it and update it. In the case where something changes, which I can show you quickly what that would look like, let's just let's cheat and edit the line number manually and just say this is 22. And then I'm going to open the tour back up. Now that's assuming that the code moved around, right? So the code's moved. We're going to open it back up. It says the tour may be outdated. Great. So now we're going to share it with the agent and go back. And the agent gets a prompt. Great. They fixed it. So the tour is working. So if you ever have questions, you just have to come down to ask a question and you can share this and we'll follow up with you over email. We've done it. We have created our first tours with Intraview. We've stored them and now anyone on the team could see them and use them. This is a great opportunity for you to go and try it on your own repo, and I strongly recommend that you feedback if you have anything you want to see. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.